Hi, I'm Davina, and I'm recovering from complex post-traumatic stress disorder and narcissistic abuse. And today I would like to share with you how the narcissistic parent shames pretty much everything about you. So the narcissistic parent, of course, has a lot of shame inside. And most of what they're doing is they're projecting it outwards onto their child so that they don't have to face their own pain and their own shame. And so, especially for the scapegoat child, who takes the brunt of this abuse, it's a lot of shaming, a lot of blaming. So I made a list here, and I'm going to go over it, and hopefully that will give you some insights. So they shame you when you are angry. If you're angry or frustrated, they shame you about that. Instead of approaching you and, oh, looks like you're feeling frustrated. How can I help you? Or looks like you're angry because you broke your toy. They will say, what are you screaming about? Or what's that scowl on your face? Or your screaming isn't helping anyone. Or stop that screaming, it's bothering me. um, stop shouting. So they will find many ways to tell you that your anger is wrong, that you shouldn't be feeling angry, and that you shouldn't be expressing that angry feeling, especially if you're protesting their abuse. Another thing they will do is they will shame you when you are sad or upset. They will say things like, that's an overreaction, don't you think? Or, look who's being a grumpy Gus today. Or, Miss Crabby Pants. Or, you should be more cheerful than that after your nap. Or, you're being a suck. Or, it's not that bad, you're just making a big deal of it. So again, like a lot of shaming around any show of vulnerability, of sadness, of neediness. They don't like that, and they will shame their child so that they, yeah, don't have to face their own shit. They will shame you when you're feeling happy and excited too. Yeah, if you're showing your exuberance and your enthusiasm as a child, they will shame that too. They will say things like, stop being so hyper, calm down, or you're full of life today, like in this snide way, like, what's your problem? You're being so happy. um, yeah, narcissists, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy making, right, for the child, because what are they going to think is, what's wrong with me? I'm doing something wrong. I'm feeling wrong. Um, it's pretty brutal stuff. They will also shame you when you're being silly. If you're showing your creativity, your spontaneity, and children love to be silly and goofy, and they might just say, "Oh, you're a funny one," or "You're being crazy," right? They won't compliment you. They won't say, "Wow, what a what a cool idea," or something like that. No way, they're gonna put you down. They will shame you for the things you like and don't like. If you like something, they'll say, "Oh, you like that?" Or, "Well, I guess if that's your job, and I guess if that's what makes you happy." Like, again, it can be a very kind of subtle kind of like, "Ooh, what's wrong with you? Why do you like that thing?" Or, "Why are you hanging out with so and so? Are you gonna go see her again?" Like, all these kind of like just really, really questioning. Um, yeah, of course, making you feel shameful, making you feel like you're doubting who you are and what you like. Um, yeah, it's horribly detrimental. They shame you for your interests and your passions. You know, they will say, "Oh, you're so obsessed with that," or yeah, they'll basically just put down what you're interested in, or they won't show any interest in what you're interested in. So, um, yeah, or it might just be in a very superficial way. Yeah, they really don't care. They will shame you for how you want to do things or for your preferences. They might say, "You're being unreasonable." If you want to do something one way, or you want to take your time doing it that way, or, you know, um, they'll tell you you're being picky, too picky, um, or, of course, too sensitive. Um, Yeah, they'll shame you for everything and anything, really. They'll shame you for not being able to do things that you are developmentally not capable of doing, right? If you're 2 or 3 years old and they're shaming you for like not being able to, um, like, say, have patience in a grocery store or something, like something you just don't have the capacity for as a child of that age. Um, like, "What are you doing putting your hands on the couch? That's not what big girls do." Or they might say, "Well, if you can't be a big girl and get ready quickly, I'll have to take away your privileges." I mean, yeah, I mean, kids don't get ready quickly. On what planet do kids get ready quickly? Um, or just comments like, "Oh, she wouldn't sleep last night till 10:45." Like implying that she couldn't fall asleep fast enough. you know Again, on what planet do small children and babies sleep well or sleep through the night? Narcissists will blame the child for not being able to sleep. um, "You shouldn't have thrown that on the floor." you know um, instead of educating and helping the child and saying, "We don't throw things on the floor because, well, number one, the floor is dirty, and number two, it could hurt somebody or it could be shocking for somebody. um, it's not safe," or just helping the child understand so that they can make their own, hopefully wise decisions. um, yeah, and they will blame you for their own mistakes. So for their own, lack of love, their own lack of patience, their own incapacity, to love, um, to be emotionally available, to be attuned, they will blame the child. For example, the mother, a mother taking water beads out for the child to play with inside. "Oh, here's a bunch of water beads for you in your water table." The child is like 2, and of course they're gonna, take the water beads out, and they're gonna be everywhere. And the parent then shames the child for getting them all over the floor, right? Like, duh, right? So, again, it's like, they don't take, instead of thinking, "Well, maybe that wasn't a very good idea on my part," they blame the child. Um, or a mother yelling at her daughter for not getting ready for her class on time when it was her that did not wake the child up early enough, so that the child could take their time and get ready and be ready to go. Um, yeah, again, that's, the parents, I don't want to say fault, but it's the parents' lack of skill and lack of, self-reflection, to say, "Oh, my daughter takes, 45 minutes to get out the door, so we have to get up at, 7:30 so we can have breakfast, and then she can do this." And, you know, um, yeah, so those are the many, many ways that, a narcissistic parent will shame and blame their child. Um, Yeah, it's all unconsciously done. I think, there's a lot of argument as to whether, narcissistic, behavior is intentional or not. And I think the point is kind of, what's the word, kind of moot. Like, the point is the impact on you, right? Yeah, with all this shame and blame, you know, as a child, you're just taking everything in. You don't have any filters, you don't have any defenses, you don't have any um, sense that, oh, maybe it's my mother, maybe she has some mental issues, right? A little child is not gonna be able to think that. They're just gonna say, it must be me, right? So shame can take many, many faces. And I wrote some ideas down today. Um, and it can be, yeah, it can be subtle, it can be very strong. You might feel just like you're really small. You might feel like I've been feeling this holiday, and just not feeling shiny. Like I feel dull, like this kind of dullness. Pete Walker describes it as like your battery is dead. Like it's just like you don't have that full power. You might just be feeling inadequate, unworthy. You might feel like you're lacking, that you're not enough, that you're somehow less than others. You may feel like you're falling short, like you're failing, like you might even feel like you're despicable and disgusting or ugly. You might feel like you're incompetent or useless. You might feel like you're a loser. You might feel like you're never getting it right. And you might just feel like something is fundamentally wrong with you. You might be just down on yourself, feel like you're down on yourself, and you don't really know why. This is the subconscious programming that you got from your parents. And I'm probably in a shame flashback right now. In fact, I woke up in one this morning, and it was really clear to me how just, yeah, this feeling that I'm having right now, just I feel exhausted. I feel, yeah, I'm looking at myself in the video going, oh my God, I look tired. I don't look exactly like, yay, I don't feel shiny and bright and brilliant at the moment. You may also feel just like you're kind of bored, like you're not interested in things. Things always might feel like a struggle, like, oh, what do I do now? You might feel indecisive. So these are all signs that you're in a shame flashback. And I think for many of us highly sensitive people, the shame becomes so much a part of your identity that you don't even realize it's there. Like it's like you are the fish in the water, and the water is the shame, and you don't even know that your whole life has been, you know, based in this shame, and that all the choices that you make are just coming from this idea that I'm, you know, a shameful person. So once you start, the more awareness you start to bring about, the more you will start to see that kind of unconscious programming going on in the background. So you have your conscious mind, and you know you're making choices in your day and you're doing things, but you'll be able to see that tape that's going around in the background, and it can be kind of quiet or sometimes loud. Or it might just be a very, like what I get now, like just over this holiday, I'm realizing there's just this kind of this sense like almost like, yeah, it's almost like, I don't know what I can describe it as, like this cloud around me, or this like veil around me that's like just, yeah, that I'm just not, yeah, just not adequate. Like I'm just not ever getting it right. So once you start naming it, that's so powerful. When you get to the point where, oh, I'm feeling ashamed, then you start separating, not like I am shame, I am shameful, I am inadequate, I am worthless, to like I am feeling that way. I'm feeling that way because my parents abused me as a child. And when you can start recognizing that you're in a flashback, that's an amazing step. So, and if you're not there yet, that's okay too. It'll just takes a lot of time. It's a hard road. It's a difficult, painful, and sometimes exhausting process of coming out of this narcissistic abuse. And of course, when you're coming out of it, all these feelings are coming up, right? Which can add and can make you feel ashamed for feeling all those feelings. Like you're going to feel sad, you're going to feel depressed sometimes, you're going to feel anxious, you're going to have all this grief and frustration and rage, and you might feel shame because you're feeling those things. So it's just important to have this awareness. So yeah, I hope that is somewhat helpful for you today. I think I'm just asking God if there was anything else I needed to say today. I'm trying to just like channel whatever I feel is what I'm meant to speak to the world. Yeah, to be an advocate for people like you, to be a voice that says, no, that's it wasn't okay. What happened to you? What happened to you was like psychological rape. So yeah, you can treat yourself like, like a rape victim, really. Like imagine how you would treat a friend who had been raped, had been brutally, violently raped, because that's what happened to you as a child. You were raped by your narcissistic parents psychologically and emotionally. And so, yeah, I'll show you my little inner child here as I'm talking about that. Here's little Donna. So, you might want to have a doll or something, or, carry around something that reminds you of your inner child who was abused unfairly, treated really not well, and that was because of, your parents' lack of awareness, the parents' lack of emotional maturity, and it had nothing to do with you. It's really important that you know that it's not your fault. And I hope that brings you something uplifting today. Thank you for watching. I am Davina Shemaya at Boldness Blooming, wishing you many, many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening. Thank you for watching.